Hello, everyone. My name is Cherie, and today I am going to talk about things that no one really wants to talk about in this hard talks when it comes to preparing for life and life insurance. And so we're going to get into it. As you know me, if you've been watching a few of my videos, you know I like to put most of my stuff on a PowerPoint or some type of presentation so that way I could stay on topic so I don't ramble. And so, yeah, and I've been thinking about talking about this for a while because my current job, I work in the claims department and I deal with all types of situations every day. So I felt like there are some things that I could talk about and help people out with. So let's get into it. So the topic is, let's memorize that. What happens when you die and no one is prepared? And basically, this was inspired by the sudden death of the actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I grew up watching him, and I'm sure a lot of other people, as well as me, grew up with him. Just overall nice guy from what I could see. And it was heartfelt. That just really inspired me to go ahead on and just say, let me just go ahead and make this video because this is something I've been thinking about, but I never got around to doing it. And so I want to just, it's you never know. Life is just so unexpected, and so I know that celebrity is gone too soon. The unexpected passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner, it really hit home for many of us. And I want to be clear, I'm not using his name in vain or for attention. I just want to speak on something that's hard to talk about because his passing reminded me of how fragile life really is. For many of us, Malcolm was just a star. He felt like family. We grew up watching him as a brother, a cousin, someone familiar. And as he got older, he became an uncle, a father figure, a husband, and honestly, an inspiration. And when someone like him leaves this earth, we're left not just grieving, but asking the uncomfortable questions. What now? Who handles the bills, the assets, the children, the life insurance, if there's even one? So, as I explained earlier, I work in this insurance field, and every day I heard the same stories. Families confused, overwhelmed, even fighting because no one had the real conversation while their loved ones was alive. So today, I want to have that conversation, the hard talk, the one about money, paperwork, and legacy. What actually happened when someone dies, and how you can protect your people before it comes too late. So let's get into it. And let me just start by saying I know this isn't easy. Death isn't a topic people want to talk about. Some people believe talking about it makes it come quicker. Like if they said it out loud, they're inviting it in. Others feel guilty. They say I don't want to burden my kids with that, or I'll get around to it and when I have the money. And there are many excuses that we make along the way. We always put it off, we never talk about it at all. And I get these calls on a daily basis where no one never knew that their loved one had a life insurance because no one talked about it then, or people have to search for documents because they don't know where they are. And that's just a lot when we could be really more organized and just talk to people. It's a tough conversation, but for me, I have two kids. I have two boys, and I have a 13-year-old and I have an 8-year-old. I'd had this conversation with my kids probably ever since they was 6. My oldest is 6 and 7. When I first told him about insurance and where my information is at and how much he's going to get left, he already knows. And my youngest one as well, they both know. I always talk to them about it. I talk to them on a regular about just having, letting them know that I left them insurance and stuff like that. So they are aware of where it's at, where they're located. It has all the instructions. So it's never too late or too young. You start, just let someone know. Also, let my mom know. Also, let my sister know. So everyone's aware. I have things in line. So I think that's what other people should do. It's not easy. No one wants to talk about it, but it's something that has to be done. And so, but here's what I learned about working in the insurance field. I personally work in the claims department with their insurance, and death doesn't wait for us to be ready. It shows up in the middle of our plans, in the middle of raising our kids, in the middle of next year. I'll do it. And when it happens, your loved ones are just left trying to clean up the financial mess while also grieving you. And a lot of times it'd be so much paperwork. Most time people don't have time to grieve, or if they do grieve, they forget all about it. And then they'll file years later when they do remember, or months later when they do remember. It's just a lot. And if you ever lost someone or had to bury someone, then you know how much of emotional involvement this is. And again, like I said, I work in this field. I answer calls from people who are numb, heartbroken, angry, confused, all because someone they love died and no one knows what to do. And here's what I hear over and over again: we don't know who's the beneficiary is. I think he had a policy through work, but we can't find the paperwork. She named our daughter, but she's only 12. So what happens now? We were together for 20 years, but we weren't married. I'm not listed. It's always emotional, but it also can be preventable. So let's break down a few things that people think they know, but usually don't. First, what is life insurance really? It's not just a payout when someone dies, it's a financial protection plan. It's your final love letter to your family. It's a way to say, even if I'm not here, I still got you. But it only works if it's set up the right way. So let me give you a few keys I've seen go wrong so you don't make these mistakes. Number one, no beneficiary listed. When no one is listed on the policy, it goes to the estate, which means it enters probate court. That means it could cause delays, legal fees, public records, potential for family disputes, and creditors could get paid before your kids or spouse. And nobody wants that. Number two, naming a minor as the beneficiary. This is the big one. You want to take care of your kids. I get it. We all do. But if you name your 10-year-old child directly as the beneficiary, guess what? They can't legally receive that money. So the court steps in. They'll appoint a guardian of the property, and that person may or may not be the one you would have chosen. It also means that the money is tied up in red tape. The child may not get the money when they truly need it. And there's a chance the adult managing it could misuse it. You want to set up a trust or name a responsible custodian and write the rules. And you should do this now while you still can. A trust is definitely more beneficial for a minor because you don't want anyone to misuse their funds. Name the trust for the minors to protect so that they have their money, because you never know when it comes to people, even family, they could spend your children's money that money that you left for them. And when they get older and they realize that they had money, that's a whole nother family issue right there. So you want to protect your kids as best as you can. And number three, policies that lapse or expire. Sometimes the families thought that there was a policy, but it was not active. Maybe they missed the payment. Maybe the coverage ended and nobody noticed. That's why it's important to review your policies yearly and don't rely on just what you what's through your job, especially if you plan to change jobs or retire. A lot of times, people, especially people that retire, they don't realize that once you leave that job, if it's a term policy, that policy is going to end unless you decide to port over, which is called portability, or convert it over, which is called conversion, to keep that insurance active, or if they just purchase just some insurance on their own individually. Otherwise, once you leave that job, that pretty much is it, unless you do those two things. And then number four, thinking your policy is enough. Let me just say this: job coverage is not guaranteed. If you leave that job or they restructure your benefits, it can disappear. You also need a personal life insurance policy that can follow you, not just your employer. Because 9 out of 10 employers' coverage is term policies, and term policies are not everlasting. They will end, and a lot of people do not know that. Term policies, they are just in case you pass away. But if you convert it over to a conversion policies are the rates never go up and the coverage stays the same for your entirety with a cash value. But term policies they just work different. You only get that money unless you pass away. And so you see, these are the stories I hear every day. And the worst part is families are left in pain, not just from the loss, but from the confusion, delay, and money that never makes it that never makes it right to people. So let's flip it. Now that you know the problems, what we can do, let's talk about naming the right beneficiaries, why you need a contingent backup, setting up a trust if you have kids, writing down your wishes for funeral, guardianship, and assets, keep your paperwork organized, and telling someone where it is and having the courage to just say something. The final takeaway, having this talk doesn't bring death closer, it brings peace. Peace for your children, peace for your spouse, peace for your future, because the love language is preparation. And I want to thank you all for listening. I've been thinking about this as I discussed about this topic for a while because this is my everyday life. I work in the claims department. I heard so many stories. I heard so many people just saying, I thought I was the beneficiary, or my mom never told me that she had coverage, or my wife never said that she had coverage, or I can't find the paperwork. It's so many stories I heard on a daily basis. And or I have the callers that think they're entitled to because they were the child of the deceased. And long and behold, their parent decided to just only name one person as the beneficiary. Let's say the parent had 3 kids. But that parent said, okay, well, I'm not leaving my money to only but one child. And I left my money to John. And the other two don't get anything. And that's their legal right to do that. As a parent, they can do that. And so it's so many different scenarios that could go with life insurance and when someone passes away. So I want you to stay tuned and I'll be uploading part 2 and I'll be discussing the beneficiaries. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. my video. And I just want to, give you all the resources. I am not a life insurance person, but I work in this field. So I know, I see, I hear it all day long. I read paperwork all day long. It's definitely a lot. I see so much. So why not share it? And for people that are not aware or how to fill out the forms correctly or whatever they need to do, I will like to help you so that your loved ones are taken care of. You feel at ease knowing that you got everything in place. And let's just stop being scared. Let's just talk about it. Because what's the point of having life insurance if your loved ones don't even know where it's at? Like, make that make sense. Why would you have money set aside for to for your final expenses to be paid, for your loved ones to have, and nobody even know you got life insurance? That doesn't make sense at all. It's just like money just invisible for no reason. So we just have to discuss it. I know it's uneasy, but once you start it, it gets once you start saying something, the relief that you know that somebody knows, you'll feel a whole lot better, trust me. So I would just say just start. The sooner you start, just and get your paperwork and just get you a book, write down the numbers, write down your insurances, who gets what, just have everything aligned and in a safe place. Let that person know that you can trust where it's at. All right. So I'll see you in the next video. And thank you all for listening again. And have a good day.